Hey, what's up everybody? It's Kellen here from Start Your Systems again, and welcome to a fun little video today here where we're going to be looking at MatRob 14's design, or I guess recreation of Fort Dodge 2 in MX Simulator alongside of the actual Fort Dodge 2 round from MX ATV Reflex. Fort Dodge 2, the Supercross track in Reflex was, I feel like, one of the most famous or one of the most famous tracks to come out of Reflex. I feel like it's one of those tracks that you can see time and time again and still feel like you're watching it for the first time. Even after I played MatRob's Fort Dodge 2 track and then I went back and played it again on Reflex, like, it made me realize just how good Reflex was, like graphically, gameplay wise, everything along those lines. One thing to remember about Sim versus Reflex is that Sim is actually a year older than Reflex. Sim came out in 08, Reflex came out in 09. So people might look at this video and say, like, oh my god, Sim looks awful. But, you know, first of all, Sim, it's a user-created track, so it's not going to be like tip-top, you know, high-level stuff. And the Sim stuff, in terms of like graphical, you know, implications, I guess, is a lot different than how much time and effort was put into the Reflex side of things with all that off-track stuff. So, you know, Sim doesn't look great comparatively, but this is just a really cool side-by-side comparison. And we're going to watch the end of this lap here, and then I'm going to go ahead and play a couple laps on Reflex, and then play a few more laps on MatRob's track in MX Sim. So let's jump in and take a look. All right, so here we are back in Reflex, playing the Fort Dodge 2 round that now 11 years later, or 12 years later, I guess at this point, yeesh, was recreated in Sim by MatRob 14. I always love these kind of crossover, you know, someone makes a track from Unleashed, or someone makes a track from Reflex in this case, because then it just gives me an excuse to go back and play a game like Reflex or a game like Unleashed when it happens. These games are, I mean, gosh, like, I still pick up Reflex every now and again and just am blown away by how fun it is. And I know that, you know, people all the time talk about, like, these new games and wishing that they would be, you know, better or closer to what we had in Reflex. And I agree, like, there's some things about Reflex that I feel like were too far off to keep, but man, they lost the mark a little bit with the physical aspect, in my opinion. But graphic wise, man, I'll tell you what, I was a little bit shocked when I loaded up this Fort Dodge track and like saw how good graphically the game still looks. Like, yes, I get it, there are things that look a lot better nowadays. Even the new motocross games, you know, Monster G Supercross and MXGP, and eventually MX ATV Legends when it comes out and stuff like that, those games blow it out of the water graphically. They do a tremendous job, in my opinion. But still, just to look back at this and think, like, man, this was 2009. Just kind of shows how spoiled we were with stuff like this back then. I actually remember the first time that I played Reflex, the demo version of Reflex, and I loaded it up and I was like completely mind blown by how good it looked, how good it played, all the above. But anyway, I wanted to talk about this track, obviously, because that's what we're comparing here today. This track, like I said, it is just one of those standout tracks from Reflex. You know, it's like in a football stadium, but they made it almost like a diamond shape, and then the thing that, you know, it goes up into the stands and stuff like that, and it just adds so much more depth to the track, I feel like. I'd always actually be curious. I'm not sure how much my buddy Checkers, who many of you guys know, had in building, you know, tracks like these. Obviously, I know he had a helping hand with a lot of the tracks, but I'd be curious to know, like, how much of his thought process he was able to put in on these. So maybe if he watches this video, shoot me a text, Checkers, or you know, even put a comment down or something, and just talk maybe a little bit about the creative process of this, if you could. Because I mean, the idea of going up into the grandstands, I feel like, you know, people have talked about that for a long time. They always did it in like Pontiac, and they did it in some other stadiums back in the day, and then eventually did it in Detroit, and then started doing it in Monster Cup and stuff like that. But, you know, going way into the stands up on like the concourse level is pretty much going to be impossible, but it's just still like a really cool concept. And I feel like they did a really good job to like include all the fans up here, and, you know, the escalators, and then the snack vendor bars and stuff like that. Overall, fantastic job with the environment on this one. And then the track just played amazingly well as well. That's why I feel like it has such good replay value to go back and check it out. I actually think I might end up making a video about some of my favorite Reflex tracks sometime soon. So let me know what you guys think about your favorite Reflex tracks. Let's jump over to the Sim side, though, and talk about this track by MatRob 14 and give him some kudos on recreating it. All right, hopping back over to Sim, playing Matt Rob's track here, and I think what I want to do about this video, more so than like, you know, give it just like a straight up track review as if I was doing a track walk on it, I want to compare and contrast some of the differences about what Matt Rob did with his track versus what the Fort Dodge track in Reflex was like, because obviously he's trying to build it off of the Fort Dodge track, and I think he did get some things wrong. But I think overall it's just really cool that he even tackled this concept. So let me talk about some of the things that I feel like he did wrong. First off, this rhythm section is actually a 3-3-2 through here in the Reflex version of it, so I'm not sure why he went 3-3-3. This section's pretty close to spot on. Obviously, I feel like he scaled it a little bit more close to what we see in Sim. Sometimes the Reflex stuff was maybe a little bit overscaled because you could go really fast on it. But Sim-wise, I feel like he scaled it kind of back down to what we expect out of it. This section, it's kind of weird that he chose to build it the way he did. He like made it super easy to do this step on, step off thing, where the Reflex version, it's actually pretty difficult to do the step on, step off. If you get the timing with it right, it's not that hard to do, but usually you would jump over and then triple up to the top of the hill. This whole section up here, he got pretty spot on. The whoops, he built too long. There's only like 6 whoops total, I think, on the Reflex version. There's like, what, 8, 9-ish on this one. But again, you know, it's just kind of nitpicking at that point. You know, this Supercross triple was huge on the Reflex version. He made it huge on this one, so that's kind of cool. This split section, you know, there was a bigger jump to the outside on the Reflex version, but I'm not really, you know, nitpicking that one too much. And then pretty much from here down to the flag, except maybe the little 3-5-3 triple before the finish line jump, he got it pretty close to spot on. You know, those whoops were maybe a little bit longer on the Reflex version. This jump was very big, so, you know, got that pretty close. And then this one was, you know, the inside was built up a little bit more than the outside was on the Reflex version, but then over the finish line jump, and then through these little first rollers. And then a difference that he did here is that, like, on the Reflex version, you would do this line right here more often than not by, like, checking up and then going over table and then tripling into this corner, and then you would have a roller right there. But I don't know, the way that he built that feels quite a bit off than the first section, the Reflex version, in my opinion. But again, you know, not that much different. It's just kind of, you know, I guess how he creatively interpreted those sections. And then, yeah, that 3-3-3 right there. It feels good as a 3-3-3. The 3-3-2 on the Reflex version is kind of tricky, I feel like. So I like the 3-3-3 that he built. Oh, short a little bit right there. But yeah, you would go over this, then triple, and then get up to the top of the hill and triple again. Just overall, though, I mean, you know, kudos to Matt Rob for tackling it. Like I said, I didn't want this to really be like a track walk necessarily, where I just, you know, talk about how, you know, creatively he tried to build it or things like that. I just kind of wanted to compare and contrast the two tracks. You know, visually it'd be cool if he somehow was able to incorporate the stadium side of it in there, but I can imagine that that's got to be really tough, especially because Fort Dodge 2 goes into the stands, so you would have to pick a stadium that's close enough that you jump up into the right spot of the track. And, you know, I totally get why he wouldn't include it and just decided to recreate the track instead. And yeah, I'm stoked that he did recreate the track. Like I said, it gives me a reason to go back and play Reflex. Not that I needed a reason, but just always, you know, one of those things that, like, it slips my mind to go back and play Reflex or go back and play Unleashed or Untamed every now and then. But then I come up with like a video idea that incorporates it, so it gives me an excuse to go back and play it, and then I remember how much fun I have playing those games still. So that's pretty cool. Let's go over here real quick and check out this little thing he added. It's just like a little kind of like freestyle corner almost. Like, it's not even anything but, you know, this big dirt jump and then a freestyle ramp, it looks like. And then it just goes back and does a little double into that corner. Not sure if he just included that to have something a little bit extra, a little bit fun, or, you know, if he was trying to, you know, maybe mimic a freestyle show that would be on the side of the track there. But yeah, overall, just added that to the side of the track. What is that there on the side of the track? It says, "Welcome to Fort Dodge." Okay, there you go. That's cool. Fort Dodge 2. Got some trucks and stuff around here. Again, this is just like adding visual stuff. He added a helicopter over here too, which is a Rockstar helicopter by the looks of it. So yeah, just nice job by Matt Rob to go out of the box, think about creating something like this. You know, it's not the easiest thing to do to replicate some of these tracks as well, because, you know, all we have of those tracks is like the ability to just go back and play them. Now, I know like track editors in Reflex could probably get into the track files and like really look at how everything was, you know, laid out and maybe do like a 3D overlay map and then build it in Sim. But, you know, just going off of the visual references that Matt Robb probably had for this, I feel like he threw together a pretty nice rendition of this track. You know, all the feels, all the nostalgia. When Reflex came out, I was, what, I guess 16 at the time. So, man, gosh, it feels like forever ago. Oh, don't go down. So it's just like throwing me back to, you know, high school, really, for me. Just going back to the teenage years, thinking about playing this game, loading it up, shredding it, and getting all excited for Live to come out. And then, obviously, we know what happened from there with THQ and MX Versus ATV and stuff like that. But, yeah, Reflex, man. Always fun to pull that out, play it again, talk about these tracks. Like I said, I think I might do a video where I rank either my favorite tracks or put up a poll and ask you guys to rank your favorite tracks in Reflex, because I feel like that's going to be one of those things that would draw a lot of people in and be interested about it. So let me know, would you guys like me to put up a poll and you guys vote on your favorite tracks from Reflex, or should I just pull ones off the top of my head? Let me know what you guys think. Kudos again, though, to Matt Robb, and kudos to everybody at Rainbow for creating Fort Dodge 2 in the first place. Like I said, Checkers, gosh, who else was over there? Yeah, Dan Mitre, and I think Elliot Olson was the other guy that was there for a while. And, you know, all those guys, all the hours that they put into making Reflex as good as it is. So thanks for all the hard work, boys, and making a really cool Fort Dodge 2 track. If you guys want to download this track, try it out for yourself. The link will be in the description below, so you can put it in Sim and see how it compares and see whether you agree with me on some of my thoughts about not just the look of the track, but how it feels in some sections. Because, like I said, it does feel a little bit more scaled down. Does feel like he maybe made things a little bit more technical in the Sim version as opposed to what you would see playing the Reflex version. So, yeah, let me know what you guys think. Always love hearing what you guys think about cool crossovers like these. And there's actually another really cool crossover, Reflex to Sim, that I have coming in the works to talk about. Some of you that play Sim and have been playing Sim recently will probably know exactly what I'm talking about, but it's a pretty cool little track map that someone made, and I feel like it deserves some recognition and talk about it, so I'll probably bring that up here next month or so. Off-season grind continues. But yeah, shout out Matt Robb, shout out everybody that made Reflex, and hopefully you guys enjoyed this little cool crossover video today. As always, get involved in the comment section below. Download the track in the description if you guys want to try it out for yourselves. And thanks for tuning in to another video here on Start Your Systems. I will catch you guys in the next one, though. So Kellen signing off for now, and see you guys later. Bye-bye.